Hey everyone, off the Mike Sports Network here. I've had a little bit of time to let this insane Lakers, Mavs, and Jazz three-team deal. But really, what this is, it's Luka Doncic going to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, and there's other players involved. But the highlight of the deal is those two players. And I've had some time to think about it. I've talked to one of my dearest friends, Andrew Marks, who you guys know from the Mad Sports Show, diehard Mavs fan. Um, he's heartbroken, and listen, I'm still flabbergasted by this whole thing because, for one, the Lakers side of this thing is still a little bit confusing too. But you could see it from their end because, hey, 25-year-old superstar, but they've got no defense on their team. Zero. Like Anthony Davis was covering up a lot of issues. They got Luka Doncic, which is great for like passing the torch, and they've got their next superstar for a long time to frame this franchise around. That's the first part of this. But really what this video specifically is about, I've had a chance to really think about the whole dynamic of the trade from the Dallas Mavericks perspective. And here's my conclusion. I have no fucking idea what the Dallas Mavericks are doing and what their end game is here. All this because if you're trying to convince me that this is about winning a championship, then you are full of shit. Under no circumstances, I don't care if Luka had bad conditioning. I don't care that Luka had deficiencies on defense. You were in the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals. 8 months ago. 8 months ago. And Luka was one of the primary reasons why you were there. Carried them to that finals. Got them through the Western Conference. They beat the number 1 seed Oklahoma City. They beat a Minnesota Timberwolves team that seemed like it was on track. The Minnesota Timberwolves had just beaten the defending champion Denver Nuggets. They got to the finals. They just ran into a buzzsaw that was the Boston Celtics. They were 3 wins from a championship 8 months ago. And you give up a 25-year-old superstar because you don't like his conditioning, you don't like his defense, you don't think you could work with him. And not to mention, you don't even try to auction to the highest bidder. You go stealth mode, and get Anthony Davis, who is a great player, but 32 years old, injury prone, and on the backside of his prime. You get Max Christie, a young player, and you only get 1 first-round pick in 2029 for maybe the second best player in the entire NBA. The only person off the top of my head that I can definitively say is a better player than Luka Doncic right now is probably Nikola Jokic. Probably. I mean, you could argue that with me in the comments, but Luka Doncic is about as box office and as big of a deal as you can get. And to see this go where it is, it tells me something went horribly wrong in that organization to the point where they didn't want to put up with this anymore. They wanted to move on. But the optics of this, until we find out more information, and it may not even really absolve Nico Harrison and the Mavs organization of anything in this, because as far as I'm concerned, yes, the Lakers have issues that they got to sort out by this trade because they literally have no defensive players. LeBron at 40. And I just don't see how the Lakers realistically with Luka Doncic and LeBron James are going to win a championship. Like, this is really about the future for them. But for the Mavs, they got Klay Thompson. They got and they got Kyrie Irving on this team. And it's just baffling to me to see a superstar the level of Luka Doncic just dealt in a manner like this in a news dump overnight past midnight Eastern, and the Mavs literally get almost nothing back. This is like pennies on the dollar return. Like, when I initially reacted to this video, I was more reacting just to the shock value of the names being involved in this trade and saying it's the most shocking move that I've ever seen, not just in the NBA, but in all of sport. I've never seen a move quite like this. But when you peel this all the way back and you actually really evaluate this move and You've heard from all particular parties. You've heard all the stories. I don't give a shit if the Mavs had problems with, and they were unwilling to commit to Luka Doncic long term. You could have gotten way more if you would have just auctioned him off and potentially thrown something out there. But you literally went stealth mode. Nobody saw this coming. It was completely underneath everyone's nose except for the Lakers and the Mavs and also the Jazz, who were involved, and they got some pieces back in this deal. But it just doesn't make a lick of sense from the Dallas Mavericks side. And if you look at some of the stuff that Nico Harrison's been saying defense wins championships, guys, Anthony Davis can't finish a season sometimes. He is an outstanding defensive player, and he can go and get you 25 a double-double any night in the NBA. But let's be real. He was never the alpha in LA. It was all about LeBron. And is Kyrie going to be the leader now? It's not going to be Klay Thompson. Hey, what message are you sending to your fan base when literally 8 months ago you were playing for a championship and you just traded away your best player, who is arguably easily one of the 5 best players in the league, might be arguably the second best player behind only Jokic is the only player in the NBA that I can come up and definitively say is better than Luka. Like, it's just, if you're a Mavs fan, I feel genuinely sorry for you, because this is a slap in the face to all the diehard Mavs fans who waited so long to get back to a championship after Dirk brought them a championship in 2011. Hadn't been there in 13 years. Miracle run last year. Luka with an all-time playoff run. And we're not even at the All-Star break. It's the first of the month of February. And this is what you do to your fans? What the fuck are we doing? This is seriously, it's one of the worst trades that I've ever seen. One of the worst trades I've ever seen. It's a shocking trade, but when you peel this back and look at this strictly from the Dallas Mavericks perspective, this is as bad of a move as I've ever seen in my life. I didn't think it was real because I looked at the return and I was still, and then I looked back at it again. I was like, wait, really? The Mavs got 2 players and a first round pick 4 years from now? That's all you got? Man, you must really hate Luka. Still, that's not an excuse. Anybody could have done a million times better. And I would be stunned if the Mavs netted out better because of this. They're going to regret this for a long time, regardless of if Luka, doesn't win a championship. Like, you were better off with him than you are without him. Anthony Davis is not going to get you any closer to an NBA championship than than where you were previously. It doesn't help you. You lose a great 3-point shooter. You lose a guy who averages 30 points a game. You lose he causes problems defensively, but who cares? Everybody's scoring 120 points a game in the NBA now. Defense, is on some level valuable, but it's not going to change the dynamic of your team. That's where you lose me on this. So again, if you're a Mavs fan, I feel so sorry for you because Andrew, Danny, who I love and adore, they're my 2 best friends in the world. They're the biggest Mavs fans I know. And it's just like, I didn't get a chance to really, think about what this move, the ramifications of it. I was really thinking about just like, 35,000 feet of just like, holy shit, Luka Doncic just got traded for Anthony Davis out of nowhere, out of thin air. Now you look at everything in the returns of what happened, and it's just like, what the fuck are the Mavs doing? What the fuck are they doing? And I'll tell you this before I go. Happiest person in Dallas right now, after all the negative publicity that he's gotten, is Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones was getting so much negative publicity in the Dallas, Fort Worth, in the Dallas area, with the handling of the coach of hiring Brian Schottenheimer. With the Mavs doing this, the ire and the anger of that city is going to go directly towards Nico Harrison. And even though Mark Cuban's not as involved in basketball operations in the new ownership group, they're like public enemy number 1. Because, like I said, this just From a basketball perspective, it makes no sense. From just a strictly star perspective, it makes no sense. On every fundamental level, from a business sense, it makes no sense. Anthony Davis is not even, as much as Anthony Davis is a great player, he's not even close to the star of the global phenomenon that Luka Doncic is. So, good luck to you, Dallas Mavericks. If you defy me, if you defy the odds and you defy like everything and all the vitriol that you're going to get, good for you. But I don't see this working. I don't. And for the Lakers, it might work. But one thing you do know is Luka's going to probably get extended. He's a for God's sake, the guy's the guy's been to 5 consecutive first team all NBAs. Like, this guy's as good as there is. And he's playing with LeBron James. Like, I don't know if that dynamic's, but then the Lakers are going to be able to build the next generation of their team around Luka. And maybe they can make it work because, hey, you've got a coach in JJ Redick who really appreciates like all of what Luka brings to the table. Can the Lakers get it to work and get him into conditioning and get him into shape and get him to play defense? I doubt it, but the other thing about this is he's like the perfect player for the Lakers. Perfect. He's going to love all the spotlight. He's going to be the face of the franchise in a major TV market with one of the biggest brands in the NBA. Like, this is a win for Luka, obviously. But again, it's just, I go back to the point of, it's just, if you're the Dallas Mavericks, I'm going to be so curious to hear more, like when they actually start speaking about this, rather than just reading quotes from Nico Harrison and reading quotes from Mark Cuban, reading quotes from their ownership and hearing from Jason Kidd. It's so confusing at every level. You didn't try to go to the highest bidder. You did it underneath everybody's nose. You did it 8 months, not even a year after playing for an NBA championship. Like, every optic here is just so bad, man. It's so bad. So, yeah, I just, like I said, I couldn't come up with the words when it initially happened. But now I've been able to really evaluate this and just, I can definitively say that this is, honest to God, one of the worst trades maybe ever. And I witnessed Deshaun Watson coming to the Cleveland Browns for multiple first round picks, but trading as good of a superstar in Luka Doncic away for 1 first round pick and a 32-year-old all-star who is oft injured in Anthony Davis and Max Christie. That's what you get. Good luck, Mavs. I hope it works out for you, but this is shaping up to be a debacle. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.